Town of Wilson's Mills, September the 24th, 6:30 p.m. We'd like to welcome everyone, and a couple of reminders before we have the invocation. We are being live streamed via YouTube, so the microphone is very sensitive. So let's please keep our behind the scenes conversation to a minimal, as those things will be picked up. And we'd like for our viewing audience, which we hope will grow each week and every month, to be informed of the goings on in town. So we would like to remind everyone of that. And those of you who are out there listening who are not in attendance, let me make you aware that we have several committees that are operating within the town. And if you would like to volunteer and assist in any of those committees, please join us. At this time, we'll have our invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for your blessings. We ask for your guidance in giving us wisdom and use positive judgment that pays dividends to all of our citizens. We thank you for allowing us to be out of the mainstream of this terrible storm that passed through our state a week ago. And we thank all of those who assisted each and every one as they plan to recover. There are many of us, of our friends and neighbors down east, who have had tremendous damage and lost a lot, if not everything that they owned. Give them strength and guidance, and be with us as we conduct the town's business tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If I could ask everyone, we'll stand and give the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I hear a motion for the approval of the minutes of the agenda?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilman McGowan. Second? Second by Councilman Randy Jernigan. To approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. All in favor? Ayes have it. We move forward with the approval of minutes that have been included in your packet. We'll do them one at a time. The regular council meeting for August the 20th.
Move to approve.
Motion's made by Councilman Wright to approve these minutes. Here a second. Second by Councilman McGowan. All in favor? Any opposed? The closed session council meeting on August the 20th. I hear a motion for their approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the closed session meetings of August the what?
20th.
20th.
Motion's been made by Councilman Triplett.
Second.
Second by Councilman Randy Jernigan. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Closed session special council meeting on August the 13th.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion's made by Councilman Randy Jernigan to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilman Philip Wright. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. At this time, we're going to do a ceremonial oath of office for our new police chief. And he brought his wife with him. Glad to have you. We're certainly glad to have him.
Both of you will face the audience. If you will hold that, and Chief, if you right there on the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Adrian Williams,
I, Adrian Williams,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Adrian Williams,
I, Adrian Williams,
do further swear
do further swear
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
and authorities which are
or may be established
or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support,
and that I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Adrian Williams,
I, Adrian Williams,
do further swear
do further swear
that without prejudice,
that without prejudice,
I will honestly perform
I will honestly perform
the duties of Police Chief of Wilson's Mills,
the duties of Police Chief of Wilson's Mills,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
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 One more comment, and I didn't mean to leave him out, but I'd like to thank Sean Fritz for assisting us with the live stream programming that we're doing. Thank you so much for your assistance. This time we'll have an open forum. Anyone who has signed up and would like to speak at this time, please come forward. State your name and give them 3 minutes.
My name is Stephen Carson. I'm with Bateman Civil Survey. We're back. It's been a few months. I do want to say that we heard the concerns of the council before, and there were some questions as to what we were proposing. The concerns that I'm going to address, and Wade will get up and speak to some other concerns, but the main one I want to address is the sewer concern that was brought up before. We have went and met with public utilities at Johnston County and have proposed a route for a sewer line through this area that would serve our project along with other annex parcels that you have in the area. Johnston County has agreed that this is a suitable route and would allow us to have sewer access via this route. The main reason for one of these routes is, as everybody knows, the sewer capacity out on Highway 70 is already at capacity or has been promised out capacity. So anything further in developing this area that requires sewer service is going to have a new route. And that's what we are proposing in our package here. Did y'all get copies of?
We did.
Okay. Like I said, as part of our project, the parcel to the north that's already been annexed in, we would start there by giving them sewer access as we follow down through our project, which of course will allow us to have sewer access as well. We would end up with a station and a tie-in for the Bobby Murray tract. From that point, we'd run a force main down Rock Pillar Road. Like I said, once again, the county has agreed to what we proposed here. But what it allows is a linear progression as you come down, starting from the north going south. Each one of these parcels would have an opportunity to then continue to tie into the sewer line. Put a pump station tied to the force main that we would be installing on Rock Pillar. And as you open this up, the general fall of the land going from 70 back towards Rock Pillar will give all the general business areas and any other parcels in here that would have any commercial opportunities to them, access to tie in to what would be a future sewer line. And like I said, as you step down the line, just a linear progression going south, as each parcel come online, whether it be for residential or commercial, they would then have access to sewer. Y'all have any questions?
When you talk to the county about the possibility, and you're just talking about putting sewage in, you're still on the agenda for annexation for going into the city limits.
That's correct.
Okay.
One of the big questions for annexation was us not having
So,
availability of sewer.
Right. But did you talk to the county about them putting into the bill for the expense that it's gonna cost us to annex you in? As far as the police force, things that we have to give you,
Wait, you want to speak on that?
Would you like me to address it now?
everyone ever, it's gonna be a good time.
Well, any other sewer questions, and then if not, I'll address your concerns.
But you're talking about going down Rockport
Yes,
and
sir.
cutting back, on the street and come out to 70.
No,
No,
we're tying into a pump station down at Swift Creek Road at the airport.
Okay, you're gonna tie into the dump, the pump station at the dump.
That's correct. And the progression of a gravity sewer line, eventually that force main would all come offline. The gravity line, which is the dash line, will
Are you
eventually,
gravitying all the way down there?
we're going gravity to a point right now at the Bobby Murray track. And then we're going to run a pump station and a force main.
Right.
Until this line eventually gets built all the way down, everybody will have to tie into that force main at some point in time until everything, this line fully gets put in all the way down.
Have you talked to our planning department about it?
We have over several months.
On the new one you just got, that you were talking about? You said you talked to the county. Did you come back to the town of Wilson's Mills and talk to them then, before you come to us?
The last direction I had was we needed to provide a route for the sewer. So that's what we've done. We went and met with the county and got an acceptable route for the sewer.
Okay, if the county has made this acceptable for them, then why do you want to come into the city limit?
Well, we're trying to accomplish two things. We're trying to bring service to parcels that you've already annexed in.
Well, they got service anyhow. They've already been serviced. They got a pumping station. They're gonna put a pumping station in out there and pump out into the 70 main line.
the county has informed us that they will not allow any of those properties to access the sewer line on Highway 70 East at all.
They've already got it done on the Bobby Murray and the Zantoon.
The Zantoon tract does, the Bobby Murray tract does not.
They are leaving a section out to come into the Zantoon, from Bobby Murray to the Zantoon, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't talked to Sandra.
I spoke with Chandra, we spoke with Chandra, at Johnson County Public Utilities, not Public Utilities. And she, indicated that the Zantown tract was the only tract that has been annexed at this location that they will allow to tie into the 70, force main. Everything else from there, they are not guaranteeing sewer for. That's from her, and obviously.
If I'm not mistaken, the Bobby Murray is gonna go in with the Zantoon.
Well, when we spoke with them, their intentions is that if additional route comes available, which is what we're proposing, Z2 actually comes off of 72. Everything will come back to this proposed route.
But my question is still, if you figured out a way to get to the pumping station with your sewage, why are you wanting to come into the town of Wilson's Mills and have to pay the extra tax? Because it's gonna put a hardship on us to keep it patrolled.
So this particular parcel is not within the sewer service area of Johnston County. So, just because, there's a sewer route, that does not mean that they will allow us to access sewer because
Okay,
it's not in
you're
that sewer service
saying
area.
if you get into the town of Wilson's Mills and the township of Wilson's Mills, regardless of what it does to us, you will be able to build on that and run sewage down to the dump site.
If it was approved. Yes,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. So that would be the reason for hoping for annexation into Wilson's Mills, one of the main reasons anyways.
Well, I like to talk to Chandra. She's already knows what our position is because we had a meeting with her a month ago tomorrow, Thursday. And we gave her our position on what we wanted to do with sewage and sewage allocation. So I don't see how she could have said, well, and I understand that you've got a route for it. But my deal is coming into the town of Wilson Mills and then putting a hardship on us to have to patrol that area plus provide services. And when you get the roads built, you're gonna want to turn them over to the town, so that's gonna put the roads on us. We have to go up and take care of roads and stuff.
If you like, I can address some of your concerns, and if you've got any questions after that, I'll be happy to answer them. Are there any more sewer route related questions?
I know the route you're talking about going. But my main concern is the town of Wilson's Mills.
Sure. And as it should be.
And I
So-
see you have changed. You went from Gray, Linda Johnson heirs to Gray Development. You
Correct.
changed the name.
Gray Wolf Development
Yeah,
is,
you got to change the name of it.
myself, that is my company. We have purchased the property from the Linda P. Jones heirs. Yes, sir, that's correct. So it's no longer the Linda P. Jones track
Right.
technically, but we'll go by that.
I wish you had gone back to our planning board and discussed it with them and told them what you wanted to, how you were gonna do it and what you wanted to do before you come to us.
Well, and
We could have got input from them then on what to do and what not to do.
sure, we're going by our instructions, just trying to follow the rules as we're told. And so I apologize if you would have rather done that. The purpose, my understanding, the purpose for this meeting is not to gain annexation. It's simply to get your permission to have a public hearing, open forum to discuss it. So if this body decided to allow us to have an open forum and discuss it with neighboring property owners, in the meantime, we can, of course, talk with the planning board. That can be done in conjunction prior to you making any final decisions as far as annexation. So for clarity, we're not requesting annexation tonight. We're simply requesting a public hearing so that we can begin that process. And that's what we've been instructed is the correct path to follow as far as the timetable or timeline. So I apologize if we moved out of turn. So if it's okay with you, I'll try to keep it brief, knowing how your meetings are structured with a primary open forum and then obviously a secondary open forum afterwards. What I was hoping to do was answer, I put together a list of answers to questions that I had heard you ask before, questions that I expect you may ask now, and questions that I think that even if you didn't ask, probably should. So I'm going to go through the list real quick, and hopefully that'll answer some of your questions. And if not, you can fire at me, and I'll try to address any of them. So in regards to sewer, we have met with Chandra Farmer with the Johnson County Public Utilities Department. They do support this proposed route. Currently, all the sewer for Wilson's Mills and Clayton go through the force main on Highway 70. This force main is at capacity and some would argue over capacity already, and will continue to exceed capacity until they add additional lines to 70. So annexing this property would allow us to install a new sewer line from Cole Road to the Johnson County Airport via Rock Pillar Road. That's approximately 4 miles of sewer line that we would install. The county's position is this allows for them to do something that they've been wanting to do for quite some time, which is to take the sewer from the airport, or the pump station right at the airport, between there and the dump, essentially, and run it down Short Journey Road. Short Journey Road would then go down Crantock. From Crantock, it can go to the landfill, where it can go through the process there. From there, it can go to the News River treatment plant, which is, of course, where the current treatment plant is and where their planned new facility will be. So this takes relief. Currently, right now, everything bottlenecks into downtown Smithfield, essentially goes down 70 and it has to go down to the treatment plant from there. Additionally, Selma, Micro, all of those areas come down as well. This is providing some relief to that bottleneck situation, and also provides some fairly immediate relief to the force main being at or over capacity, which we feel is a benefit to a lot of folks, including Wilson's Mills, as you continue to grow. And I understand that more likely want to add some commercial and general business, and in order to do that, obviously you're going to want some sewer. So additionally, On top of that, it allows for, like we just talked about, the surrounding parcels that have already been annexed by Wilson's Mills to get off of the 70 force main, which right now Zantoon is the only one, per Chandra in our conversations, only one guaranteed access to the 70 force main. And it gets everybody off of 70 and takes it down our sewer line, which is once again helping free up some space on the force main on 70. In regards to safety, obviously that was something that was brought up in the past and something we obviously look at. We know that the Bobby Murray track is annexed into Wilson's Mills. We know that the track north of us, that's owned by the Jones family, if I'm not mistaken, their intention, at least last I heard, was to put apartment complexes and things of that nature there. And of course, the Zantoon track has single-family residential. So you've got a tremendous amount of growth or potential growth. Of course, it's all raw land right this second for a lot of lots, a lot of households. Our position with that is that you're going to have police force already patrolling that area, regardless of whether we're there or not. It's just that's a reality. At least with this property, the additional tax revenue for the town helps offset some of those additional costs that you're already going to be seeing, regardless of whether we're involved or not, truthfully. So that's completely opinionated. That's my opinion, and obviously you may feel differently. I understand that. Additionally, regarding safety items, there's a lack of fire hydrants in this area, especially on that section of Cole Road. That this would bring that up to obviously we add fire hydrants, which would help with safety there too. Obviously, arguably some people would consider that a safety issue somewhat. I feel like it is. So what we've done is we've tried to figure out approximately the additional annual revenue that the town would see. We approximated about $266,700 in annual revenue based off of the taxes that would be paid by this particular community alone. So when you talk about emergency response or police patrol and things like that, we feel like that could go towards some of that. Obviously, it certainly helps offset it when you combine it with the other surrounding communities that the parcels are right next to ours. So, of course, that doesn't include the additional tax revenue and fees that we would pay during the development process, because obviously, as everyone knows, you don't just take a piece of land and turn it into a finished community overnight. This is a long-term process. Additionally, the community would increase the average median property value in Wilson's Mills significantly. If I'm correct in my findings, the average median property value in Wilson's Mills is about $108,000. The average price in this community would exceed $200,000 and then some. It would also increase the average household income in Wilson's Mills overall, which, once again, if my facts are right, it's about $43,000 annually. The other thing I want to talk about is consistency. And this is kind of where I get really opinionated and wish I could sit in your shoes sometimes. But in my mind, when you've got parcels that are already there, that are already annexed, that are already going to be within Wilson's Mills, and then you've got a parcel such as ours, which is sandwiched between those types of parcels. To the north of us is a parcel that's already been annexed. It will be in Wilson's Mills. To the south of us, there are two parcels that have been annexed that are in Wilson's Mills. If you take a 70, 80 acre tract of land, which is what we've got, you sandwich it in between, and you put septic there, and it's in the county, but everything around it is sewer, curb and gutter, sidewalks, active recreation areas, passive recreation areas, things like that. It creates a very large inconsistency. And as Wilson's Mills, and once again, this is kind of more big picture long term, but as Wilson's Mills continues to grow, I think the last thing that you want to do is have part of Wilson's Mills being inconsistent with what you're trying to accomplish. At least that's my opinion. So our particular community, if you chose to annex us and approve us, obviously, would have sidewalks, curb and gutter, additional landscaping that is far beyond what the county ordinances require, and so on and so forth. Additionally, this would give us the ability to create multiple types of residences, townhomes, patio homes, estate homes, which gives us the ability to hit a larger demographic as far as affordability. With that, it also gives us the ability to have ponds, walking trails, passive parks, and even potentially active recreational parks. And depending on the outcome, potentially a clubhouse and pool amenities and things of that nature. So what we're talking about here is a community with a lifestyle in mind and not a standard Johnson County subdivision with 3/4 acre septic lots that doesn't have anything else provided. And this is once again an opinionated statement, but I would argue that this would be the best community of Wilson's Mills. And once again, that's very opinionated. But so kind of to close it up, about us, we're Grayville Development, like we said. We have purchased the property. Our office is located across the street from the airport, so we're local, from Johnson County, born and raised. We're not a out of state or out of the area developer, and we kind of pride ourselves on that. And frankly, I don't really develop anything outside of Johnson County. We have a great track record. We don't have any negative reviews. We're involved in the community. We're involved in the Smithfield Chamber of Commerce, Clayton Chamber of Commerce, Greater Cleveland Chamber of Commerce. You can talk to Mike Mancuso, Daniel Wooten, Kim Lauder, any of those folks. They know us really well. We support the Boys and Girls Club. We support the Community of Hope in Garner. We're active members in the Realtor Association, the Builder Association. You can ask around town. We're legitimate and we care about the community because frankly, I got to drive by for the next hopefully 50 or 60 years. But so in closing, we feel like this community would be beneficial to all, including Wilson's Mills for quite a few reasons. It would be beneficial to Johnson County and frankly, whether we like it or not, somewhat beneficial to Clayton. And obviously beneficial to us as well. So hopefully that was my attempt to answer questions in one go around so that we could accommodate the first open forum. Any questions in regard to any of that?
What's your website address?
It's actually GrayWolfHomes.com. So we own a home building company and we build about 30 houses a year.
I can find that. I don't want to take any longer. Just Gray Wolf Homes.
GrayWolfHomes.com, and there's a tab for Gray Wolf Development on there, and it talks about what we do there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? And once again, this is not, we're not requesting annexation at this time. We're simply requesting the ability to take the next step forward, having discussions with the planning board and having discussions with the neighboring property owners and having that open forum, if you will. So just want to make that clear. Okay.
Thanks,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we'll close the first open forum and we'll move into a public hearing on a special use permit. This time we'll recognize our attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, this matter is a hearing on an application for a special use permit submitted by Wilson's Mills Advent Christian Church. A special use permit requires a quasi-judicial hearing, which is basically quasi-judicial means sort of like a court or halfway like a court. That means that some of the formal courtroom proceedings you see in the courtroom were going to be followed in this part of the hearing. The main special rules in a quasi-judicial hearing are as follows. First, there's a special procedure to ensure that council members can render a fair and impartial decision. I will ask the council members if anyone has a preconceived bias or lack of impartiality, which would make it difficult for the parties to have a fair hearing. Anyone, any council members feel like they need to recuse themselves from the matter?
I go to church over there, does that matter?
Well, I think if you, in that case, we might ask that you, when it comes to the vote, that you recuse yourself and not vote on it.
Okay.
But, and anything else other than that? If not, the next issue is that we have, the law prohibits what we call an ex parte communications about the proposed application. Ex parte communications are those which occur outside of the hearing room, typically before the hearing, by way of conversations, telephone calls, emails, and the like. However, the law recognizes that the public may not understand the prohibition against such communications and provides that if they occurred, the problem may be cured by just disclosing that a council member has had a conversation about it. And, they don't have to recuse themselves. It's just a matter of disclosure. So I'll ask if council members have had any ex parte communications they need to disclose. Does anyone have any? All right. There being no issue there, we're ready to proceed to the witnesses. And in a quasi judicial hearing, the law requires that the testimony on the special use permit issues be sworn testimony that is limited to what is called competent, material, and relevant evidence. In this type of case, competent evidence is generally evidence that is presented by an expert witness. An expert is a person who has specialized education, training, and experience in that field. And so someone who's giving testimony at a conditional use permit hearing, or in this case, a special use permit hearing, is usually going to be someone who's an expert in a field like engineering, planning, land development, architecture, property value appraisals, traffic studies, things like that. And so after that, we will have a chance that for members of the community who are not, qualifying as a expert witness, just to speak and comment on this special use permit. But what we'll do is we'll start for the people who want to who intend to testify in any of those categories. If they'll come up, we'll have the town administrator swear everyone in. We'll go ahead and start with that now.
So for this portion of it, that would include the plan.
Yeah, this will include everybody, including even people that just wanted to comment at the end who didn't fit into the expert category. So anyone that intends to testify
Okay.
and speak in this hearing, please.
Yeah, we have one. If each one of you will state your name and your address for the record, speak loudly so we'll be able to hear.
Lita Bird, 755 Powderton Road, Clayton, North Carolina.
There you go. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Valerie Brookins, Planning and Zoning Administrator, Town of Wilson's Mills.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mohammed Halim, owner of Star Christian Academy.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Alicia Allen, co-owner of Star Christian Academy.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Is there anyone else?
Okay, the way the order here then will be that first the town planning staff will provide the case summary of the special use permit. After that, we'll have the applicant's witnesses testify. After that, any other expert witnesses that need to testify, and then after that, just any other members of the community that wish to comment on the special use permit. So start with it.
Okay, thank you. So essentially, this is Star Christian Academy was the applicant with Wilson's Mills Adventist Christian Church, being the owner of the property. And the academy is at capacity where they're currently operating. And so they're just looking for a second facility. It is, the church schools is an allowable use for the zone. So the church is in R20 zoning category, which is an allowable use. It just requires a special use permit and has additional supplemental standards. And you'll see in the packet also, towards the back, the applicant also responded to all the special conditions and how they would be addressed. So this is basically on the second page of the staff report, you'll see the findings of fact. So the decision will be based off these, as far as planning staff, they've met all the requirements. from the code.
All right, if the applicant's witnesses would like to testify?
Well, I represent the church, I'm the trustee of the church, and we have no problem with them coming and using our church. They are renting our fellowship hall to use as their second location, and the church is very, very happy to have them a part. Mike, if you want to say anything?
Good evening. And like it was just mentioned, you know, we're growing. We started about 5 years ago with one student, and we've grown probably, I think, quadruple that. And so, you know, it would be a definite advantage for us to have the other facility so that we can house our elementary school students and have more room for our middle and high school students. So.
Anything else? All right, next, if there's any other expert witnesses who want to testify on this issue, anyone else who wants to, and then after that, anyone else who just wishes to comment on it generally and who does not consider himself an expert witness on it.
Is this gonna be a permanent? Is it gonna be permanently?
Yeah.
I know the school's building a new building over at
No,
New Generation. Are they building something over
that's not the school.
That is a, it's called New G Life Center, and it's just for, the church use.
there? Okay.
The church currently uses the fellowship hall back
Yeah,
there.
I know we gave them the use
Right.
permit to have a school.
And so what they're doing is moving a part of it. The elementary students will be moved to our church, and the high school
About
students
30.
and middle school will be kept there. Yes. And this will just give them more room for whatever they need.
That everybody needs.
I see no reason not to. I think it would, anytime you can provide education for kids, I think it's very important.
So, yeah, if the council wants to discuss it further, and then
Any other discussion? Thank y'all.
We need a motion.
We're gonna need a motion to approve this special use permit for this new school to go into the Wilson's Mills Advent Christian Church.
I make a motion that we approve this special use permit for Star Christian Academy. I think is what it is.
Motion has been made by Councilman Triplett for us to approve this special use permit. Here a second by Councilman Randy Jernigan. All in favor? All opposed? We have none. The ayes have it. Congratulations. Move forward.
and this will close the quasi judicial hearing part of this meeting.
Okey doke. We'll move into our regular business. At this time, we will have our planning report by our planning director, Valerie Brookins.
So this covers the month of August. It was pretty quiet as far as new projects coming in, so there's only one zoning compliance permit issued. Tralee, one of the phases 6A to receive their final plat approval at the September 4th meeting with planning board. And there's new plans that have came in for phase 5 and 6B that are under review. And just leaving Olive Branch on there as placeholder, reminding that it'll be coming up again. They just need to, they're working on a traffic impact analysis because of the number of units. So then they'll resubmit when they get that information also. And then special use permits, what you heard before you tonight.
Any other comments about planning? At this time, we'll move forward with Councilman Triplett and the street department report.
All right, we have a agenda thing that Matt put out. I talked with Matt last week. The only damage that he found was on Antler Drive where I live, where part of a tree fell down on part of the road. And we didn't know when it was going to be taken and got taken care of, but it was taken care of today.
Yeah, Matt did.
And so that was the only, he said that was the only thing from the hurricane that that we need to deal with at the street department, so that was it for the street department. He's given all the other stuff that he's done this year, and people can read over what that was, what he did this last month. But that was it. That was the only damage that we had from the hurricane, was the down tree on the Powhatan, or on Alma Drive.
They were actually several more than that. Marvin and the fire department took care of quite a few trees down inside the city limits. Luckily, they didn't have to clean them up. Matt didn't either. DOT come by and pick them up with their buckets, so the town didn't have to use their manpower for that building. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Park ran approximately 30 something calls from Thursday morning until Sunday morning.
Well, thank y'all. Appreciate it so much.
I would have a question, Councilman McGowan. How did Ives Landing fare during all this rain?
We did fine. I actually drove around a couple of times and checked the drainage actually.
There's a couple that are still.
Yeah, a couple inside underneath driveways, but other than that, overall, it's flowing just great. Didn't see any problems with Main Street. Didn't even, it got high on the sides, but it never topped Main Street.
And we never flooded either. Believe it or not, first time.
So
Well, that's great. Good Lord was looking after all of us. All right, let's move on to events report. Councilman Wright.
The events committee is still planning on the pumpkin festival October the 13th. And, we've got some issues up there. We've got to have electrical for the vendors and so forth. And I have talked with, Glenn Davis, and I've been in contact with Duke Energy. They're supposed to send a engineer out to, talk with Glenn about where we can set up curve poles or how to do it or whatever. And, Councilman McGowan over here asked about generators. I don't know if that's feasible for the pumpkin festival or not, be able to clean up that. But, it might be a possibility. I don't know. I guess we can discuss that tomorrow night.
You want to
There's a big generator back there.
We're talking about renting a generator to put out there.
I got one.
And we got one right back there. But we're about to have a couple 220 outlets and probably about 8 to 10, 110 outlets. And Glenn was wanting to do a service pole and run a line up beside the fence, the silk fencing, and distribute from that. I don't know what the expense on that would be, but I'm pretty sure it'll be an expense. And it might be cheaper to use a generator. I don't know. It's something I have to look into. We still got water issues we're working on in the bathroom. You're trying to get that straightened out. And we have I don't know how many vendors we have signed up for the pumpkin festival, but we do have a contract here for DJ service from Steve Edwards for the DJ service at the day of the festival. And that contract is he's asking for $500. From does he have a time schedule initially on? Oh, yeah, from 10 o'clock a.m. to 4 p.m. on October 13th.
did we use him last year? We didn't have it last year. The year before
Oh,
last.
You know, we had,
We have it last.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
la-
did last year.
last year, there was a band hired from Garner, that was hired. What was the name of that band? I don't remember.
Steve has been used a couple of times.
Steve was used for the previous 3 or 4 that we had done, but, last year there was a band hired.
The events committee felt like it was better to go back to a DJ service as opposed to a band, so that in between performances, there could be music playing. And he also does some MC kind of talking in between things, so.
I hear a motion that we implement this contract for DJ services through Stevie Edwards.
So moved.
Councilman Easton has made a motion. I hear a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Randy Jernigan. All in favor? The ayes have it. We move forward to
Yeah, I asked, can we start with this, Mr. Wright? Are you going to have the horse-drawn thing this year?
having
The
pony
carriage,
rides.
Pony ride. instead of-
pony rides rather than the horse thing?
That's correct.
Okay, I didn't see anything about the carriage thing, so.
There's Silver Stars have been meeting through the month of September. They met on field and did, craft and had, lunch catered with your chicken and barbecue. And again, they plan to go to the, or do a bag assembly for Hurricane Florence victim. Be delivered to Johnson Baptist Association in Smithfield for distribution. Anyone wants to join on September 26th, which is coming Wednesday, they'll be glad to have you. I have been looking for swings for the park, and, what I really wanted, I can't get in, can't give them a quote on it, but I did get one quote for 4 belted seats and 2 children's seats. And the safety area, 46 to 32 safety valve area around the swings, which was a little $4,000, $44,050, I believe, but 56.
Installed.
Yeah, installed. But, I've got another, name that Leanna gave us a call and I haven't heard anything from them yet, so I'm still waiting on them. Swing project set there. And I guess that's it.
Any other questions in regard to events or the town park? I will say that the Family Fun Day at the park was a great success. A lot of people participated. I think we cooked over 400 hot dogs, and I'm satisfied majority of them were eaten. So a lot of kids showed up. There were over 60 packets given out for school packets that were put together by, I think the Advent Christian Church, and all of those were taken, so they had to be a child to qualify. And so they were there enforced, which was good. At this time, Councilman Johnny Easton sewer report.
Yeah, in your packet, I'd already asked for $30,000 extension on North Powhatan from Joseph Jones' house up about 300 feet. We got our engineer he came in and gave us a quote on what it's gonna be. It's gonna be around $40,000. And then the one coming south Powhatan of Prickett Lane is gonna be 27,000. We estimated 25 on that. The only thing he didn't give us here is we took Daniel Street out of up here. And it was taken out because they have a deep well. And they have Aqua Source as their primary water carrier. And evidently them and the county can't get together about how they want to monitor sewage, so everybody opted out on Daniels. So we're having a meeting Thursday, and I'll see what that's gonna bring back to the table. But right now, we're looking at $68,000 on the 2 new sewage projects up on, but we're bringing in 7, 14, about 15 or 16 new customers on that line, but adding those 2 extensions. Now, the update on
How
the
many
sewage,
customers are you taking away from the other one?
none, they all opted out. That's the reason we're not gonna run the line up. Because
What was the cost of running that line?
I don't know, that's what that's when we
Okay,
get
so
back
you don't know.
Thursday, I'll have that figure. Now, as far as the work we're doing, we have got as far down Powhatan Road as we're gonna go. And that's down at Antler, or that almost to St. John's Church. We've got that laid. We've got Antler, it ain't antlered, it's Deer Flag.
Deer flag.
We got Deer Flag laid halfway, the half that's gonna flow east. We're working on the western flow now, they're bringing it up. The The other crew has gone over to Deer Flag or Antler, the one that JC lives on, and they're coming from the railroad track back up. They're working up to the midsection, that's the western flow. The third crew is working over here on Wilson's Mills Road. They're still fighting all those cables and everything. I hope they're through this week. But we're working on that. We set a manhole today. We got one or two more to set. We're going to Peter's property line up there. Peter Holmes.
Johnny, can you clear something up for me? Maybe I missed
I
something.
doubt it.
Yeah. All right. Didn't last meeting, we approved an additional $30,000 for this extension, correct?
We approved a $30,000 extension for the north section.
Right, okay.
But then it was about 25,000 for the south, coming south from Prickett Lane.
Did we approve that also?
I don't know if we,
No, we haven't
We haven't discussed that.
We didn't
We haven't
discuss that.
discussed the
Okay,
south
so
yet.
what I was getting at was the 30,000 is now what?
30,000, now it's 40,000. 40,414.
Wow. You know, I see that. I just wanted to make sure I'm reading it correctly. So our 30,000 was, they gave us a figure of 30,000.
Well, we just got an estimated figure.
Okay.
And then,
They were pretty far off on that, weren't they?
well, they've been far off on
Yeah.
some other
I
things
mean,
too.
it's, you know, the cost of pipe, you know, the cost and how long it takes
Yeah.
to lay. You think they come in a lot better than that.
Well, they didn't give us the decrease on Daniels. When they do that, then we can take some away from one of these.
Okay, so when do we have to approve this payment?
Oh, we're not paying them now. I'm just letting you know
Okay.
what's gonna happen.
All right, we'll worry about that later then.
Actually, so your request for action in your packet did request that you vote to approve these changes. However, since we don't have the amount that Daniels is going to decrease the total project, and because we don't have the final change order from USDA,
Mhm.
I would suggest
We'll wait
waiting
till
to
next
approve
month.
that, because until it's actually approved,
And
then
you'll come up with a net figure then.
they will have, yeah, they'll have
Right.
an exact figure minus the amount at Daniels, and that will be what will be turned into USDA from loan mill, so
Right.
at that point,
We've
it
got to
should not
take,
change.
we've got to take Daniels off USDA anyhow.
That's right. So the change order will include taking that off, also
Adding these
adding,
two on, taking
right,
that
adding
one off.
these two, and then also adding the extension for the manhole down at,
Yeah, and you see where we added the manhole for the Jones extension up there.
so the change order from USDA will include everything in the total.
Okay,
cost.
thank you.
So
All right,
I would recommend just wait.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Johnny. And we'll have a sewer meeting this coming Thursday, is that right?
Thursday, 10 o'clock, or 10:30.
We just need to table this till next meeting.
We
Yes,
can.
don't have any choice till we have all the facts.
No, because we need to know what they're gonna take a manhole off, and they're saying the manhole to 1850. So they're gonna take a manhole off, and I don't know how many joints of pipe on Daniels.
Thank you. Councilman McGowan, Police Department report.
Yes, sir. I prefer to defer to Chief Williams for the police report.
Okay, thank you. The August report as compiled by Lieutenant Dan Interim Chief Billy Hilliard is as follows. You had 3 officers that worked the first community day event at the park on August 25th. They were Lieutenant Billy Hilliard, Sergeant Terry Winstead, Officers Drew Smith, Dean Joyner, and Ben Taylor. During this period, we had 2 motor vehicle accident investigations, 3 domestic dispute investigations, 1 warrant was served, 1 drug arrest, 1 funeral escort, 3 animal complaints, 6 alarm calls, 6 suspicious person vehicle calls, 4 assist other agencies like EMS, fire department, other law enforcement agencies, and 3 incidents reports, and of course, the daily monitoring of evening checks of neighborhoods, churches, elementary schools, and businesses in the community. Also, we had 1 concern. It wasn't a complaint, but it was a concern in reference to new park. The vehicle was seen at the park after hours and was there playing music. And the concern is, what that could be in the future, maybe some more cars, before long you have multiple cars. So I know there is a gate, in the process of being placed there. And maybe you might want to consider, some signage showing, hours of the park. But it was just a concern. But they said it was not a nuisance at this point. They were just trying to get it in the way before we started.
Speaking on that, I actually rode up there the other night just to check on any damages from the hurricane. There was like 4 cars sitting up there. Whenever I pulled in, they scattered. So they didn't know who I was. I didn't know who they were. But it is becoming a problem.
We're gonna monitor.
We have to, we need to go ahead and get something expedited on
Didn't you
that
give us
gate.
a price on the gate to go up there, Philip?
Well, I did, basically, yeah, but then I was told not to worry about a gate, that thing in the future.
Yeah, but signage is the simplest thing, posting the hours and then no loitering or, traffic after a certain time. That makes it easier for your officers to enforce, does it not?
Yeah, what time the park closes at dusk
Yes.
or something like that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chief.
Yes, sir.
One thing I'd like to add to his report, but we were lucky within the Wilson, Missouri, every call that we ran, there was police presence there, and that's very nice. We appreciate it.
Councilman Jernigan, Maintenance Department.
Mr. Tripp has already been over most of our stuff, because all of it was in together. I'll go ahead and get Matt to work on those signs and see what we can order. Because we've actually got, no loitering signs, and he's ordering 2, so we need to go ahead and put expedite those signs and get them put up. We'll go ahead and work on that.
I noticed that the 2 porta johns are on the side. Is that, do we need to have them got, are they gonna, up there at the park?
Yeah, we need to get them picked up.
We need to get them picked up.
No, there's a town's porta johns, and we're just gonna get them cleaned and have them ready for the pumpkin
No,
festival.
they're laying down.
Yeah, but they won't hurt you to stand them
Oh,
up.
they won't.
No, I promise they won't bite.
Are they full?
I thought he took them up yesterday.
No, they were still there today.
One way to find out, Randy.
Randy, can you
Turn
get
one out. Picking it up.
I can have it. Done it thousands of times.
could you
Nothing to
go out the sign and put on our street?
Leanna, question here with the park. Didn't we have some park rules and regulations that were already in place?
Yes,
She said no.
Yes, and Matt's already been
And this
looking at a large sign to put the interest of the park with the rules.
Correct.
Part of that includes the hours of the park.
Right.
Obviously, anybody who's up to no good being there after dark isn't gonna stop and read the rules. But I think a gate would definitely be a better
Well-
deterrent for something like that, but to have the rules up, then yes.
Well, the reason for the, not meaning to interrupt, but the reason for the delay in the gate was having the new road in place in time for operation versus the old one. But the old one was gonna get closed off with a gate when the new one's in operation. Is that not correct?
Should be.
That's what I was
Should be
gonna
closed
say.
off with a gate now.
Yeah, I don't see a
There's
reason why we
another
couldn't do the
gate.
gate now.
Because like you say, that new road is gonna be the main entrance, right?
Right, but even once we have the new road coming in and the other road is gonna be cut off, I mean, it could still be gated during times when the park is not open, if that's what you all want to do, just require somebody going out there and opening and closing the gate. Which obviously at dusk and dawn, it's gonna be a police officer, so.
The gate should be consistent with the fencing. I think, blend with the fence, nothing different. And I don't know what type of fencing we plan on putting up except for a chain link fence or black and whatever. But, that's my thoughts on as far as the gates, that they would be consistent in appearance with the fence.
We can get several people to give us some quotes and then we'll go from
Yeah,
there.
I mean, there was money in the budget, we put in the budget this year.
Yeah, we put money for fence and stuff in it.
Okay, good enough. Okay. Is that all of maintenance?
Yes, sir.
Finance. I guess that would be done by the town administrator.
So you have a report in your packet that is for August 1st through August 31st. Obviously, it's almost the end of September, so there's been changes to this nothing unusual. Everything seems to be pretty much in line for this time of year. We've got some that are higher than others just because we pay a lot of the bills at the beginning of the fiscal year. But if anybody's got any questions, I will do my best to answer them. And if I can't answer them tonight, I'll look for an answer tomorrow. Because I'm trying to
I do have a question.
get into finance again. Yes,
You knew that was coming, right?
that's fine. I don't know.
Page 3 of 7. Fourth one up from the bottom. Just a question under administration expenditures. What are the contract services that we obviously did not have budgeted for that are now almost $2,500
So
down?
this is the line that we pay for temporary services for Mitchell Temporary.
Okay.
For the administrative assistant that's been
Okay.
assisting and hopefully will remain in that position.
And we didn't budget for that at all?
Well, no, that comes out of salary normally, but because we're paying Mitchell Temporary, what we would do towards the end of the year is move the money from the salary line into contracted services.
Okay.
Because if we pay it out of salary, we have to show where we pay payroll taxes and all that. We don't do that as contracted through Mitchell.
That's all I had, thank you.
We budgeted 28,200 for sewage. That finishes up this year. Do we pay it a quarter or we just pay it?
Do we pay what back for?
The payment on that last sewage installment? We actually owe $28,200. Do we pay that by the quarter? So much a quarter? Or can we
What
just
are you
pay the
saying we don't pay?
$28,200?
To the county.
To the county or
No,
to
to
the
the,
Ralph Hodge?
no, it's a loan on the sewage equipment that we,
Oh, the equipment loan.
yeah, the
No, that's
sewage
paid-
loan,
That's paid quarterly as far as I remember.
paid quarterly. We couldn't pay it off. Just get it out of the way.
We can, I'd have to look into that. I mean, I have to look at it, I don't know the reason why we couldn't. If you're just talking about the equipment loan.
I mean, it'd just be something you won't have to do month after month or quarter after quarter. Being it's only $28,000. I
Let's
don't
look
like
into
it.
that and see if we can't have it in next month's business. And
Yeah, I don't really like bills.
Well, let me throw one along with you, Johnny. and that would
Because
be-
I know our building's paid for.
Page,
Yeah.
page 6 of 7. The athletic park loan, the principal is $8,800 budgeted, and the interest, I understand upfront interest on the loan is the interest is paid off upfront, but that's still pretty hefty. That's almost $4,400 out of the, $4,400 in interest. It's only an $8,800 loan. Page 6 of 7, recreation, auto athletic park loan principal is budgeted for $8,880, and the interest, again, right up front is, the front end load is $4,392.
Right.
That's pretty hefty. Is there a way we could pay that off and save it if we have that kind of money?
Well,
Some of these
just
small
what's in
things,
the budget
Howard.
this year isn't necessarily what is owed on it, it's what's budgeted to be paid out this year. So that would be the same for the sewer loan as well, we just need to check.
The
to
sewer
make
line will
sure
be paid off this year,
The
2019.
equipment loan
Yeah.
will be paid off this year.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the case with the.
With the athletic
with the
part.
athletic part.
With the
Yeah, so
athletic,
this amount that's in the budget isn't what we have left owing.
Okay.
this
It's
is
the
where,
amount that would be put in the budget this year to be paid.
and the athletic is where we borrowed the money to buy the extra land.
How much was it, how much did we borrow?
$120-something thousand.
$130, $140, something like that.
All right, so what you're saying. Good.
And I knew we took a 7-year extension on this this sewage line. If we pay this $28,000, the sewage line right out here, but fire department road will be ours. Everything will be ours then. And this is the last year. But there's 2 things I kept up with, the building and the sewage line. So it's $42,000 total that we'll be keeping in the budget.
Okay, Leanna, the administrator's report, starting with the revitalization and economic development grant.
So you have in your packet some information that we received from the Rural Economic Development Division telling us that we have been selected to receive a $25,000 grant for downtown revitalization projects. It was actually mistakenly sent to the former administrator in July, and then we found out that I didn't have it, but anyway, that's why that is dated July to her. So on the second page of the proposal, talks about our opportunity to get staff at the Department of Commerce to assist us with these economic development planning services so that we can use this $25,000 to the best of our ability, which we have used the Department of Commerce before for various things, planning most of all in years past. And I would just request that council authorize me to call them and request their services for just making sure that this is something that we can use the money for and that we use it the way that we should here in town for downtown revitalization. We don't necessarily have a downtown. And there are a lot of requirements on this grant as far as being designated by the Department of Commerce as an NC Main Street community, town Main Street community, that I don't think we are yet. So, and the deadline for this is October 5th. So I'd like to contact Department of Commerce and try to get that going as quickly as possible.
I'd like to ask a quick question on that. Because of this lost letter or email, was it email that notified us or was it a letter?
They emailed a letter.
Okay, so, and did it get pigeonholed somewhere or?
Well, they
When
emailed
she
it to
left-
the former administrator's email address, and
Wilson's Mills?
that's not been in service since
So
February.
it got stuck somewhere. Kenny Flowers, I guess his name is, he's already taken some of the responsibility for that, I think. What are the odds that we can negotiate a little bit of an extension? That's pretty tough between now and October.
Yeah, I don't think it would be actually, especially if I can go ahead and call the Department of Commerce and get information. Because I honestly think that they can tell me up front if it's gonna be something that we're even going to be able to qualify for. And if it is, then, they would be the ones to help us go ahead with it. And the reason I say that there's probably not any kind of extension is because this is a state thing. They're gonna get all of these in at the same time. They're gonna wanna fund everybody's request as soon as possible, and, you know, they have board meeting deadlines and stuff. So they're probably not gonna hold it up just for us.
Do I hear a motion that we let Leanna move forward with contacting the Department of Commerce and see if we can't qualify for this $25,000
So-
project?
So we.
Motion's made by Councilman McGowan and seconded by Councilman Randy Jernigan. All in favor? All right.
Now, what did we do with the, we have for plants and shrubbery, can we use that bond that's set up, can we use that at the park?
No, he specifically put a clause in that endowment fund that it could not be used at the park.
Could not be used at the park,
That's correct.
has to be used downtown.
Yes, sir.
Will you change his mind?
No.
So,
Change it. You obviously know him and I don't.
I don't know him, I just
I
know
don't
that he's
know. We
been,
can't
and
speak for him, but I.
he put
I
up
thought
a
that was
$25,000 trust fund, we get the interest off of it.
Yeah,
I thought they had a rediscussion on that and did allow
I did too.
for some trees at the park.
the last that I heard from Alicia was that it was not going to be allowed at the park.
Yeah, that's what it was said, so I don't know.
I hadn't heard anything different.
Have we used any of the 25 at all?
Well, all we have to use is the
Is the
interest
interest off
on
of
the
it.
25. The 25 stays in as the endowment, and then
Mm-hmm.
what we get to
Okay.
use is whatever interest is drawn on top.
Have we used it?
No, we have not.
How much is in there? To be used?
I would have to look. I don't know, right off the top of my head.
We have to figure it out, it's been about 5 years, hasn't it?
Because it was-
So it would be probably $4,000 or $5,000, I would imagine.
Within about 3 years.
3.
happened exactly with you.
Okay. Ms. Leanna, does that conclude your report?
That portion of it, yes. So, the next item is presenting these petitions for satellite annexation. And again, this was formerly the Linda Jones heirs property. It is now in the name of Gray Wolf Development. The, you're all aware of the history, so I'm not gonna read that on there, that they have come before you before. And then, I was approached on August 29th with new petitions in the name of Gray Wolf Development. And, of course, you heard from Ms. Roberta and, I apologize, I forgot your name, about any questions that you may have. And so at this time, they are correct. This is where you would, first of all, you need to, approve the resolution that directs me to certify that these petitions are all sufficient for annexation. So if you'll, I would need a motion in a second on that.
Okay, I thought during the discussion a while ago that we were going to table this until we gathered the facts and before we started the process for annexation. Is that not what I understood?
I want to
You
get
can
to
do that. I
go
mean, what you
before
can do
the
tonight,
planning board.
It's, yeah, it's got to go before planning.
it doesn't, well, and see, annexations do not normally go, before the planning board. We've never had annexations go before planning board. So these gentlemen were doing exactly what they were told to do, and that is to contact the clerk and turn in the petitions and ask for annexation. So this meeting is for you to decide whether or not you want to move forward and have the public hearing in October. The last two times that they've come before you,
We said no.
definitively said no, because there was the sewer issue. That wasn't the only issue, but that was definitely an issue. So now tonight, because that portion is fixed, you would just need to decide if, because there's still a question about it being far out and being a strain on the resources, if that's something that you would need to do. But to do any part of that, you would need to direct me to make sure, to tell you that these petitions are sufficient for them to even apply, which they are.
How does it have to be worded?
That's a formality.
How does it have to be worded?
So
For the
on the
motion.
second page of your request for action, it's just a motion to adopt this resolution that directs me to investigate these petitions.
I hear a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilman McGowan and seconded by Councilman Wright to adopt a resolution directing the clerk to investigate the petitions. All in favor?
Aye.
No. We already have a problem with Zantoon, and no,
This is,
I know it's different.
right, okay. So no
All
on
that.
yours, okay? So
Okay.
the next step
How
would
did the vote,
be,
how did the vote go? I didn't see that.
I apologize.
Oh, four, okay, all right.
4-1.
4-1 in favor.
So then your next step is to decide whether you want to move forward with the public hearing. If you do not, then, you know, nobody's gonna make a motion to fix the date of the public hearing on the next one, then that's the next motion and vote that you would need.
My question, I got a question. If we're giving you a petition to investigate whether they can do this,
The petition is for me to investigate whether or not the petition is valid.
okay,
They own the property, they are the owners, and they are the ones who signed it, and I'm telling you that they are not taking somebody else's property and trying to annex it into the town. That's all
so
that
we
is.
don't have to wait on you to notify us to do this
No.
public hearing.
That's included, the
Okay, I just
certificate of
wanna make sure I
sufficiency is included as well.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood.
I think you've already done the investigation.
It is, and it's included in your package.
Well, I make a
So
motion,
the next,
I
right,
make a motion that we move, that we place this for an open hearing at our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
if that's what you.
We can discuss it after we make the motion.
A motion's been made by Councilman McGowan and second by Councilman Wright that we move forward with the public hearing date to be established.
That would be on October 15th.
October 15th, our next meeting.
All in favor?
Is there any discussion on it at that point, before we vote?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
4-1. Okey dokey. We shall move forward, with the second open forum. Anyone wishing to speak?
My name is Fleeta Bird, 755 Powhatan Road, Clayton. And I would like to say that I am very pleased with the town council and the town staff at the participation at the community day. I don't know if y'all realize that this is the first event that every one of our town council members showed up. And I thank you for that. Because it meant a lot to me as an individual to know that my town council cared enough to come to an event that you had invited me to attend. Of course, I was working that day, so that's a little bit prejudiced too. But I really do appreciate everything that was done, and I hope that we continue to do it.
Thank you.
Question, Ms. Bird, next time for those of us that are transplanted up north, could we have a package of brown hot dogs?
No.
Some people are just funny.
That's how it works.
You have something to say, Marvin?
We saw an extra 6 brown.
I had to bring my own.
You all right? You here tonight?
There you go. Support local business, Carolina Packers, Stevens Hot Dogs.
That's right. Anyone else?
I see that you've got a closed session after this. I just want to thank you now. And if any of you have any questions at all, like I said, our office is not very far away. I'm happy to address any questions or concerns between now and October 15th. That'll be us. So please feel free to thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, do I hear a motion that we don't have to have a motion to close the second open forum, but we do need a motion to go into closed session.
I make a motion that we go into closed session on NCGS 143-318.
Sure glad that,
A2 and NCGS 143-318-11A6.
sure glad
So,
that's written down. Motion's made and seconded to go into closed session. Thank you all for attending tonight. We appreciate your participation.